Welcome into the Superdome Live as the New Orleans Saints drop their second game of the season, 26-9 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm Brooke Kirchhoffer alongside Nick Underhill and Mike Triplett. Man, this was as ugly as it gets on offense this year for the Saints. We're only 4 weeks in, but boy, was it bad from all aspects. The offensive line was a little bit better, but outside of that, don't really have a whole lot of good things to say about the offense. The defense wasn't as good as we've seen week to week. It was not as sharp. We're going to break it all down in today's show.
Yeah, this offense kind of just limped through that game like tripping this boot. I mean, it was just not a good scene for them at all. We are coming to you from the Mobile Toro Hospital studio, so if you have any medical needs, check out the LCMC network. They'll get you right. They took care of Tripp's leg. They got him in this nice boot, so he's doing all right. So that's a good thing for him at least. We're presented by PJ's Coffee. If you need to get your day started, make sure you check out one of their many locations throughout the New Orleans, Louisiana region. They'll get you going every single morning the right way. And another person that'll get you going the right way is Matt Bowers. If you need a car, check out one of his dealerships. They have the best prices, the best customer service, the best of everything. We vouch for them. That's where we get all our cars. All right, let's hit these ads. The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. Are you looking for the perfect engagement ring? Look no further than Friend & Company Fine Jewelers' new engagement salon. This new area houses a wide selection of engagement rings to choose from in all cuts, sizes, and colors. Their experienced staff offer 5-star customer care to help you find the perfect ring to express your love. Visit their new engagement salon today. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, the perfect ring for the perfect moment and also for the perfect person. 7713 Maple Street between Adams and Burdett Street. 504-866-5433. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Check them out at friendandcompany.com.
For fast relief coffee.
Mike Hoss here. When the AC goes out and it's hot outside, every second counts. For over 40 years, Keefe's AC Heating and Electrical has helped thousands of families stay cool in the sizzling hot months. Keefe's Get You Cool in 3 hours or less guarantee is what our customers love the most on the North or South Shore. Call Keefe's. We'll get you cool in 3 hours or less guaranteed.
Keefe's Air Conditioning and Heating.
And now electrical.
For fast relief coffee.
Moe's Barbecue is located in Metairie. They have your game day needs taken care of. Whether you're tailgating or watching the Black and Gold or LSU at home with friends, Moe's has you covered. Order pulled pork, wings, ribs, sides, and more. Come in with the family for lunch and dinner as our kids' meals will please even the pickiest of eaters. Tailgating, parties at home, lunch and dinner, Moe's Barbecue will handle it all. Moe's Original Barbecue, 1101 North Causeway Boulevard between 48th and 49th Street in Metairie. Call 504-407-5333 for your catering order today. 504-407-5333. Moe's Original Barbecue in Metairie. Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Ponchatoula strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. NewOrleans.Football is proud to be sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Make sure you check out their location on Veterans Boulevard. All right, let's get into the show.
Welcome back. Let's get into our lead topic presented by Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers is home to a new engagement salon where they have a wide selection of engagement rings. And while you're there, ask them about their fleur-de-lis earrings and necklace that I have on now. They are specially priced for our NOF audience. All right, let's get into the lead topic. The offense was just abysmal. Oh. And the guy leading the charge, Pete Carmichael, wasn't any better with the play calling. 127 offensive yards for the Saints. Reason why they lost this game.
Yeah, I mean, let's just Mike Thomas, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller, Taysom Hill, bunch of first-rounders on the offensive line. Derek Carr, I don't know if he's part of the solution, but he's here. He's supposed to be part of the solution. You can't average 3.4 yards a pass attempt. It's abysmal right now. The things they're doing don't make sense to me. They're taking shots down the field on 3rd and short. They're running Adam Prentice on a fullback dive from the goal line, their own goal line. Like, I understand people are going to say, oh, well, the fullback should be able to execute that. You should be able to give him the ball. Yeah, but like the guy's first carry since last year shouldn't be in like one of the most critical situations possible. You're setting them up for failure. It's like if you take a kid out into an atmosphere they've never been and they don't act how you want them to act, you're probably going to say, "Oh, we exposed them to too much." Like it's just kind of the same thing. Like that's a horrible time to call on him to do that. There's just a lot of stuff that's happening that doesn't make sense. And when you've only scored 54 points, at a certain point, you got to look at who's doing the play calling. I think it's time to just I don't know if you get rid of them, but it's definitely time to have the conversation. If you are the Saints, you need to sit around tomorrow and figure out, like, is he doing the right things? How is he doing them? Can he fix it? And if the answer is yeah, okay, whatever, try to figure it out. But if the answer is no, you're at the point where you got to start talking about, like, is there another way to go about doing this?
The worst part is we saw some of the things that I thought I wanted to see. Like, we saw way too many of those passes trying to get Alvin the ball in space, and the screens and some creative alignments, and more commitment to the running game a little bit at times today. I thought we saw like some variety, maybe creativity is the right word, but the net result of none of that working just kind of made it reek of desperation. The one thing that has become obvious is this offense has no bread and butter. It has no go-to reliability. 3rd and 5 should be money in the bank. It should be, like you said, a slant to Mike Thomas, move the chains. It should be we can run the ball with confidence and know we're going to get 4 yards. You know, there's nothing they can have confidence in calling right now, and you know, there's no identity, there's no consistency. Of course, you have to blame the coaching because they changed out the players. And they've got all the playmakers you can want on this offense, and the offensive line, as you said, wasn't even the big problem today, and still nothing worked.
I wanted to rip my hair out. How many times have we talked about, how many stories have I written about, no, guys, you're wrong, Alvin on the runs to the outside, that isn't his bread and butter. It's been the inside zones for like a number of years now. That's where he's at his best. In the first half, they're trying to get him outside. Second half, it's like they run him on inside zones up the middle, and it was like a shotgun going off, and a guy just bursting through, and it's like, damn, man, like, how is it that you weren't doing this earlier in the game when nothing was working, and you're just kind of like killing downs by handing the ball off and not doing the things that are strength of your team? It's maddening. And you saying they have no bread and butter is crazy because you have guys that are like so good at the things they do. Like, where's the Chris Olave quick out? Like, that's something that he does really, really well. Where was that the whole game? Where's the Mike Thomas slant, like you said? You know, just different stuff with Alvin. Like, it was just kind of like, oh, we're going to get him the ball like out on a screen situation or like all the way out in the flat, and it's just like where's the choice route? Like, why aren't you running any of this stuff? It's baffling, and it's week after week, and it's just like, you know, 3rd and 1 shot down the field. Like, what the hell? Just get one. Like, just get the 1 yard. Like, run her out to the sticks. In the second half, I thought they did a little bit of a better job of that, but it's just so frustrating to watch because there are way too many good players to just like, it's like you're putting people in a car and they don't know how to drive it. Like, the guy doesn't know how to start the engine, and it's just like, damn, man, like, just this can't be it year after year. Like, we're in year 2 of this, and like the fact of the matter is like, I know for a fact they looked at their options this offseason. They looked at other offensive coordinators. It wasn't like just we're bringing Pete back no matter what. Like, he was compared against other options. They decided he was the best one. You got to figure. I don't know. Like, I don't even know if you can make a change right now. Like, what's the answer? Like, you just be making a change to make a change, but like at a certain point, like maybe you need to do that if this doesn't improve.
Yeah, the 3rd down numbers were just inexcusable. 5 of 14, 36% on 3rd down conversions. They just weren't able to get into a rhythm. We sound like a broken record week after week after week. Now week 4, still not a lot from the offense that we saw in training camp. Derek Carr even mentioned it. If we can get back to that team, we'll be good. But were you a good team even back then? Because you were going up against your defense. You kind of knew each other's plays. We've talked about that a lot, that as good as they did look in the offseason, you were also going up against a defense. They both knew the playbooks and things like that. But this offense, you just have so many questions, and somebody made a really good point on social media asking us, is this offense even any better than it was last year?
Well, you know what really bothered me, Brooke,
No.
is you said we're seeing the same things that we've seen the previous weeks. This was a little different because they had manageable 3rd downs today. Like, I think the first 2 drives ended on 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5. Like, they hadn't seen that all season long. It was like, finally, you got yourself into a 3rd and 4. And as Nick said, they're looking down the field, and there wasn't even options in the short. The second one, I thought he had Rashid Shaheed going right in front of his face, and Derek Carr was still looking down the field. I was a little surprised by his, you know, obviously I don't know everything he was seeing today, but this was the first time I saw him with a little time in the pocket, just needing 4 and 5 yards, not 3rd and 12 with a man in his face. And I didn't like some of the decisions I made. So it's so out of sync all across the board. No, I mean, it should be better. And we're not the only ones who's saying we thought we saw it in the preseason. Juwan Johnson said that last week. He said, I know what we saw this summer, and it was real. Derek Carr said it today. He goes, I know what we were doing, and it felt real. It's not even close to that right now. Yeah, of course. If you were looking at these 4 games as evidence, no, it's not better than the last 2 years.
On the decisions, the one thing I hated it so much is when he underthrew that pass to Olave up the sideline, and on the very next throw, it was just in his head, like, I'm going to show people I can actually make
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said in his post.
It was just a reckless
He said it
moment.
was an angry throw.
Well, I mean, let's not make angry throws because that's not a good way to operate. Like, you could have done something better with that down, and you're in a close game, and satisfying your need to show people that's not a good way to operate. But to answer the question, like, they got better players. You got Chris Olave in year 2 who's playing better. Coming into this game, he was on pace for 1,700 yards this season despite being in a very, very milquetoast type of offense. You got Alvin back game 1. You got Mike Thomas healthy. You got better running backs, and your offense is the same or worse. So I don't know. What's that tell you? Like, if you got better players and it's not running better, I don't know. Like, at some point, you just got to do the basic math, and where is the problem? And I just think it's on the play calling right now.
Yeah, we asked a couple of the guys in the locker room, and look, I don't think you're ever going to find a player that outright is going to say it's the coach's fault, just because we're at this level in the NFL where it's everybody has a hand in the problem right now on offense. But it does begin with the play calling, and a lot of people are coming for Pete Carmichael's job. I think that's right now. I mean, we haven't seen anything better from Pete Carmichael. You do have Ronald Curry, who did call a lot of the plays that were successful in the preseason. I don't know if that's the answer. People have mentioned, too, what if you bring John Gruden in as an offensive analyst? I don't know if that's going to fix things either. We really haven't seen enough from Derek Carr to really believe that he's going to be the guy that comes in and fixes it all, too. And I hate to say that because we all felt so confident in the preseason that he was going to come in, he was going to be better at quarterback, he was going to be able to move this offense down the field. We just haven't seen it. So what are we hearing now as far as decisions being made with the offensive coordinator?
I haven't heard anything. I think it's probably a little bit too soon after this game even to have that kind of thought process. But DA did say he's going to go back and kind of look at everything. So I believe him on that. On RC, like, maybe he is a great play caller. Maybe he isn't. Like, there's just no way to know. So that's kind of really hard to answer. You kind of have to be in that situation to even start having that conversation. My thoughts on the stuff Gruden did are out there. Like, there's no need to rehash all that. Like, I thought he said some crazy stuff, and there should be a cost to pay for it. He's paying a cost for it. But as a football person, like, he's a brilliant person. And if you were in a situation like this where you wanted to make some type of change, you wanted to bring somebody into the fabric of your team, he knows this offense. Like, he could actually come in on the fly and contribute. So I don't know. Like, I think you look at all your options. You got to figure out what you're comfortable with doing. That isn't my decision. I'm not making the staffing decisions here, but it's somebody else felt comfortable with it. That's on them. They got to answer for that stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to see an option that is obviously not change for change's sake. I think the question is, have we reached the point of you have to make change for change's sake? I mean, Doug Marrone is obviously an experienced former offensive coordinator, head coach. Ronald Curry has been here a long time. But they're part of the same people that have made all the same decisions surrounding this offense for the last 3 years, too. It's not like they've earned a promotion. So if you're giving the job to them, you're making change. Yeah, I mean, the John Gruden thing is does he want to be offensive coordinator? If he was willing to be an NFL offensive coordinator, would that have maybe happened already? I don't know how realistic that scenario is. Maybe he comes in again for a couple weeks to help, massage some things and pinpoint some things. But there's not an obvious answer out there. So that, but I think we have reached a point where change for change's sake is in the center of the table, not just on the table, but it's what they're all going to be discussing tomorrow.
They're going to hate me. The people listening are going to hate me for saying this. I think change for change's sake is I think you're touching the edge of it. I don't know, like, if I'm in the middle of the pie yet. Like, I'm looking at the crust and trying to figure out. I think you're maybe like a week away from that, 2 weeks. Like, if you play poorly against the Patriots in Houston, I think then you do it. But look, I'm also not the head coach of a football team that, really underachieved last year, has high expectations this year, and I'm thinking about my own career longevity. And it's not just his own career longevity. It's everybody on the staff. Like, if there is somebody holding back everything, like, there are people that are coaching on this team that would lose their jobs along with DA, all of them. Some of them might not ever get back in because they're at the beginning of their career and stuff like that. So, like, it's not just one guy. Like, you got to think about the whole operation. And if there is, decidedly one bolt just kind of rattling out that's going to take out the whole machine, you do have to do something for change's sake. I just don't know if today, tomorrow, this week is the moment. But if it is, I would agree with it. Like, I'm not disagreeing with it. I just don't know, if it's code red or like you're like, what is code red?
We talk about the offense. We talked about Derek Carr. We talked about the play calling. Chris Olave seemed off to me today. He was targeted 6 times. He only had 1 catch for 4 yards. Did it seem like maybe something was going on with him in this game too?
Well, they were killing him on the broadcast for like.
Well, it looked like he was double-teamed at least throughout the first half. Every time I looked, that's kind of who the Bucs keyed in on, and we're going to put 2 guys. Antoine Winfield, I just saw everywhere Chris went, Antoine Winfield was going with him. But, man, it just seemed like he was rattled at some point during the game.
He definitely didn't have the type of game that we expect Chris Olave to have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely some of that. There was a play where he was blocking where the effort looked, a little bit but look, I know like some people watching the broadcast, they said they were killing him on the broadcast for like not running through some routes. They were like circled him a couple times, came back to it another time, showed another example. Just being real, like it's hard to watch the whole entire, like every moment in every game live. So I'm going to look for it on film. So I don't have a ton to add to that aspect of the conversation. I just know that
you guys didn't talk to Olave in the locker room.
He wasn't there. He
wasn't there. Carr said, which I assume he got an explanation, that he lost that one in the lights. Mm-hmm. You remember the other deep ball where it looked like he had a step and then he just kind of didn't finish the route.
Right.
The ball. He said he lost that one in the lights. That's an explanation for one. But Carr's explanation overall about what they ran into in Tampa's defense. I mean, first of all, they're the namesake of the Tampa 2 defense, but I think me putting my words into how Carr explained it, I think Tampa Bay looked at this team and they said, there's only one thing this offense has done right all year, and it's getting the ball downfield to Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Michael Thomas, and we're not going to let them do that. We're going to see what else they have. He said it was not the game plan to throw to Alvin 13 times, 13 passes to Alvin Kamara today. He said that was not the game plan because of his shoulder. He said Tampa Bay was in 2 high shells, to cover 2-man. Like, they said, we are not going to let you take the top off our defense. And, I think that's why some of those frustrated throws to try to get it and be like, I guess I'm going to have to throw it into double coverage to get it to Chris Olave. But it seemed like that was what Tampa said. You're going to have to beat us another way, and obviously the Saints did not.
Yeah, look, and you mentioned the short passes. Everybody was calling for the Saints offense to go to that, especially with Alvin coming back. They threw to Alvin 14 times. And look, I don't think that is this offense's identity. They're still searching for an identity, but I don't think that's Carr's identity. It's just this short passing game. We saw Drew Brees run it very effectively throughout his career in New Orleans. So what is the offense going to look like once it is clicking? Like, what will it be for Derek Carr and these wide receivers and the running backs? Because it's obviously not the short game. He was incredibly frustrated with the short game, even telling us, remember, he threw that one deep just because he was tired of throwing it short.
I mean, it should be short game, though. Like, that stuff should work. They just aren't running the right plays. They aren't getting the ball to the right people. Like, it's stupid to say, like, you got Mike Thomas and you got Alvin. Like, come on. Like, that's just kind of what you got to blend into. And I just think it was ineffectively called. I think Carr can run it. He has run it throughout his career. He's somebody that kind of paints the whole entire field, so it has to be all of it. But you shouldn't be out there with, like, the shot play mentality either. Like, sometimes if that's what they're giving you, you just kind of got to take it. You got to move the chains, and that's what it should be. So I don't think that it's like – I don't think short game should be treated like a dirty word. I think what they did today was hideous. Like, there's good pizza and there's bad pizza. They had bad pizza today. That doesn't mean all pizza's bad.
I think that's a bad analogy. I'll eat almost all pizza. I don't want anything to do with this game. But
hey.
Remember week 1 when Chris Olave caught 2 passes lined up as a running back in the backfield, and they got it to him when he was matched up against a linebacker and let him run for like 20 yards after the catch? I didn't see that. I didn't see anything where people had room to run today. 13 passes to Alvin Kamara, most of them swallowed up quickly, was not the same as quick throws designed to get a guy open in space. So that's what they were missing today for sure.
All right, let's get to our Martin Wine and Spirits question of the day. Martin Wine and Spirits is home to a wide selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. J Mac asks, why do the fans place all the blame on Carmichael while Carr doesn't get any?
Well, I was going to say this is the first time where, like, if Carr had looked like this in week 1, I think we would have put him under immediate scrutiny. If he had looked like this multiple times, I think we'd be having a lot of Carr-related shows. I was giving him not necessarily a pass, but I mean, we talked offensive line for the first 3 weeks because we didn't even really get to see what Carr would look like if he had time and good down and distances to operate. This is the first game where I thought he had a lot of favorable situations and did not deliver on them. So, yeah, this particular game, I think Carr belongs in the criticism zone for sure.
I think he belongs in the criticism zone probably for all 4. I think it's just kind of like it hasn't gotten better, you know?
They haven't scored an offensive touchdown since the first quarter in Green Bay.
Yeah, you're kind of like giving them the benefit of the doubt, and you're being patient, and you're being patient, and you're being patient, and it's just like, well, what am I being patient for? You know?
More red zone issues today.
And look, he does have a shoulder issue.
Absolutely.
Like that's something that does have to be part of it. I know everyone's always like, oh, like he's out there, it doesn't matter, da-da-da. Like, just being realistic. Like, he did have a shoulder issue. We saw it show up on a couple plays, but it's just definitely not good enough, and there were some bad decisions. And, yeah, I mean, look, 25% of the season, we're at the quarter point of the season. It's been disappointing. The quarterback that you know, was supposed to come in and, like, change things a little bit hasn't. Like, it's looked way too similar to the last few years. Now, I think some of that is Carr. There was some stuff he did today. I also, again, like, I think it's a combination of, like, the quarterback and the play caller, and I would lean more heavily towards the play calling than the quarterback, but, like, I think he also needs to be a little bit better. Like, so they get in the hurry up today, and when they're going, and it's just kind of Carr commanding it and, like, running it, and there isn't, you know, plays being called. It's a system that's built. The quarterback calls the plays based on it. They're cruising. And then the ball goes out of bounds. They can't move the ball anymore because they're calling plays. Like, you know what I mean? There's just things that you're looking at it, and it's just like, I don't know if this is all fair criticism, but, like, there's a lot of symptoms pointing to one thing.
And we were pestering Derek Carr in post-game. Like, what needs to get fixed? I mean, any way you could have asked it, we asked him. And he kept saying, it's execution from all 11 guys out there. We have to execute the game plan. There's no excuses. I'm not going to say my shoulder was an excuse. I felt fine enough to play. Didn't feel like that would be an issue. But, Mike, he was even saying, there are things that we know.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to tell you. And that's so frustrating to hear. But why keep that stuff? I guess to me, that means he wants to talk about the play calling, because why else would you keep that concealed unless you're trying to protect somebody? Because he kept saying, like, I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to say what's wrong, but we know what's wrong. We'll get it corrected. I'm going to keep everything in-house.
I'm not going to make that same leap with you, because this has been the Derek Carr verse ever since he, like, arrived in the spring. Like, that's his line all the time. He always says, you guys know me. I'm not going to get into what we're talking about behind the scenes. That's just not how I am. And we're like, well, we just met you, but, you know, maybe if we go back and listen to the interviews from the last 9 years, that would be true too. But that was consistent for Derek Carr to say, you guys know me. I'm not going to get into what we have diagnosed is wrong with our offense. So I don't necessarily think that was code for I don't want to throw my coach under the bus. And actually, he used Pete's name like 4 times.
Yeah, he said, I love Pete.
And he said, it is not Pete.
Yeah.
And he said, we need to do a better job for Pete and DA. Mm-hmm. He is well aware of what the talking points are. But the one thing he did say that not gives you confidence, but that you need to hear is he goes, I'm not going to answer these questions. I'm not going to break down everything that went wrong. He said I could spend 1 hour on each play if you guys really wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. He goes, but I promise you, we know what it is, and we are talking about it, and we are well aware of it. It was not, I think it's all fine. It was, I promise you we know it's broken. I'm just not going to tell you what's broken.
And it's easy to get into the weeds, though, with that. And, look, we don't know him that well. Like, we've only known him since he got here in the offseason, and so that's why, to me, it was kind of like maybe he doesn't want to point fingers, but I think they're pointing fingers at everybody on that has to do with the offense.
Yeah, look, I don't think Derek's the type of guy that would ever point a finger.
No, and that's why. Well, that's why I was saying, you know, he was trying to keep it very tight-lipped.
Like Da said, look, it isn't just player execution; it is play calling. Like he copped to that. AK had comments post game that were pretty. I don't know. Like, you can read them and read between the lines. Like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said it's not the players. It's you know it's a 2-year lull. And he said they need to have difficult conversations about how to go forward on offense because he's not a loser and he doesn't want to lose anymore. So, I mean, you got to read between the lines there, but like it seemed kind of, a lot of frustration. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't think Carr would point the finger at anybody. He just doesn't seem like he seems like the ultimate team guy.
All right, we do have the money segment presented by Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union. Was this game money? No, not at all. But we do have to give some credit to the offensive line. We are giving them our money segment because they were better in protection. I mean, based on what we saw, Carr had plenty of time to throw. Majority of the game kept him upright. To me, that was the improvement they needed to see as far as getting this offense maybe back to what it could potentially be next week in New England and then the week after that in Houston. It's not like you're facing the Eagles or the Cowboys or the 49ers next week. You are facing some lesser opponents in the NFL, and with the offensive line getting back to what it needs to be, granted there were some injuries. Andres Pete left with a concussion, but if you can figure out and correct the offensive line, it makes at least everything else around the offense easier because it was so hard for them to do anything when the offensive line was so bad the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I thought a lot of them played better. I marked Ramczyk as an up. I thought McCoy was okay in pass pro, really good in run blocking. Penning I thought was okay in pass pro, really good in run blocking. Pete was playing well. James Hurst, I thought had a rough game. I thought Max Garcia had a rough game. I mean, I think that they're actually going to miss Pete. It's unfortunate that he got hurt.
He had a great game. To me, I mean, Pete looked – it was finally like he had life again. We've seen him in practice. We've seen him all throughout training camp, and he just looked like he didn't like football anymore. And tonight he looked better, but unfortunately left with an injury.
You pointed out like he was pulling and like picking up guys coming through and all that stuff. Like he looked really good. He looked like he had a really good game.
He did have one bad beat on one of either the -6 or the -7 by Alvin. So every I actually marked one bad Pete, two bad Hursts. I went back and like all the drive killing plays, one bad McCoy, kind of the same that we've seen. But the overall consent, I never saw anything from Penning that I didn't like, and that's probably the most money of all. You mentioned that the overall offense, you don't know if it's quite reached code red level. It's close to code red. The offensive line had reached code red level. Like the team was not going to be able to function if we didn't start to see progress, and I think they earned the money segment because we are seeing progress. It's like a reminder that okay, maybe there is going to be life. So we had to see the amount of progress we've seen, even though it wasn't perfect.
It probably also helped that the quarterback was getting the ball out kind of quick today too. I mean, that's probably part of it as well.
All right, we broke down the offense and how bad it was. We are going to get to the defense after a short segment, the good and the bad from the defense. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Now, at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company, get our $10.99 shrimp remoulade combos with zesty shrimp remoulade and fried shrimp or catfish for only $10.99. And did you hear? Soft-shelled crabs are back at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
Are you tired of renting and ready to own your dream home? Contact Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union, your trusted source for home loans. Our competitive rates and flexible terms can help make your home ownership dreams a reality. If you're a first-time home buyer or looking to refinance, our experienced lenders are here to help. Our online application process allows you to apply on your schedule. It's quick, easy, and convenient. Visit us online at jeffersonfinancial.org to learn more. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
At Turo, we were born for moments like this. From bringing new bundles of joy into the world, to delivering what new mothers need to stay healthy. Born to keep hearts beating strong, and to keep seniors active and healthy for years to come. Because at Turo, we deliver more than babies. From heart care to cancer care, and newborns to seniors. At Turo, we're born to care.
Martin Wine and Spirits is home to a selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and much, much more. They are family-owned and operated since 1946 and specialize in wine, spirits, gourmet food, gift baskets, catering, and tasting events. They have many locations, so they're never too far away. You can check them out in Metairie, New Orleans, Mandeville, and Baton Rouge, or if it's more convenient, you can always shop online. Whether you're a wine novice or a seasoned collector, you'll enjoy the Martin Wine and Spirit experience.
I'll take a New Orleans Saints scratch up. play New Orleans Saints from the lottery. Just scratch, fold, and punch your way to winnings. Punch your ticket with New Orleans Saints. Win up to $100,000. Enter our second chance drawings, giving you a season to smile.
Welcome back to the Mobile Toro Hospital studio. We are live in the Superdome, continuing to break down the Saints' second loss on the season. They are now 2-2 after falling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. All right, let's get to our moment of the game, presented by New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. It is the Isaac Yiadom interception right in front of the end zone, and then all of the momentum the Saints might have had left the building when Adam Prentice fumbled the football. To me, let's start with this. Why are you giving Adam Prentice the football in that moment?
Ooh, I'm not.
So they did. That's what it's crazy.
I'm not doing it. I mean, like I said before, I think it's nuts to give him his first carry since last season in that situation. It's just a too high pressure of a spot for him. I just wouldn't do it. You got Taysom back there. Have Carr run a sneak. He sneaked earlier in the game. You want to get off the line. Have Alvin do it. Have Kendra do it. Have literally anybody do it. But like, that is not the guy I'm going to where it's like, okay, we got to get out of here and just kind of protect the season. I don't know. It seems like you're asking for trouble.
Well, you've convinced me. At the time, I didn't think twice about it. I mean, we've seen that play 30 times over the years where they just do the quick handoff to the fullback, and I bet it's worked 28 out of 30 times.
He's had 7 career carries coming in the game.
Right. So what I'm saying is when I saw that, I'm like, this is their go-to 2-yard play that's going to gain a maximum of 2 yards. We've seen it on 3rd and short or 4th and short before. I didn't think that much of it. Obviously, they didn't either because all the things you just pointed out are right. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, give it to like John Kuhn. Like like the John Kuhn, sure, but I don't know. It just seemed like a highly risky play.
Yeah, and credit to Isaac Yiadom with the interception. He probably should have had 2 in this game. The one that was earlier in the game. Lonnie Johnson should have had an interception at the beginning of the game too.
Well, that's part of the moment of the game because it sure looked like he was in the end zone.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think the refs made the right call. They said he was inbounds, and, like, his second foot was barely inbounds on the goal line. But it was amazing because at the time it seemed like such a huge play because there were 50 seconds on the clock, and they stopped them from scoring. But if they call that a touchback, who knows how this game turned out. I mean, the fact that they called that could have gone either way. Was it a touchdown or was it down on the one? Made a huge impact on this game.
Let's talk about how this game did turn out. Man, they made Baker Mayfield look good tonight in the Superdome, which we all did not think going into this game we'd say that Baker Mayfield would have looked better than Derek Carr. How was Baker Mayfield able to tear apart this defense?
Baker Mayfield made Baker Mayfield look good. Like, and we mentioned this on the show. He's been doing this all year, and the thing I keep hearing is, well, this won't last. This won't last. This won't last. I don't know what formula they figured out there, but I liked all the things we're saying. I liked his like kind of poise, his quick decision making, his getting the ball out of his hands to people, his ability to run when the pocket broke down. Like Baker Mayfield did like 15 kind of barely above ordinary things that I'd be like, the Saints offense is lacking all of these things. Now, the Saints missed a lot of tackles, and they missed some when they could have had him corralled in this game. But I think he deserves some credit, too. I mean, I mentioned we've seen the Saints have a couple reclamation projects like Teddy Bridgewater and Jameis Winston in the recent past. If this is a sign of how that reclamation project is going, then we definitely owe the Buccaneers an apology for not thinking that they were a division frontrunner because they're alone in first place in this division right now.
Yeah, I mean, the performance kind of made me feel like a little bit disappointed in this offense and the play call. It's just like, wow, they really tailored something that works for him. I don't know. Did it change kind of how you felt about like the Saints just seeing the juxtaposition of like a functioning offense with a new quarterback?
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be going into this matchup thinking that Baker Mayfield would come out the better quarterback, the guy with the better passer rating than Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I know he was dealing with a shoulder injury, but it just – their offensive coordinator set up Baker Mayfield to have success. The Saints' offensive coordinator did not set up Derek Carr to have success. Another guy who did not have success, and we've been talking about this matchup, it's one we talk about every time the Bucs take on the Saints. Mike Evans beat Marshon Lattimore today.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I mean, these aren't all Mike. He gave up a couple to other people, but Marshon gave up 5 catches today for 78 yards, and he had the pass interference, that the long one where he tackled Mike Evans. Definitely not Marshon's best day. It was kind of surprising to see it go that way. I kind of thought maybe it'd be a little bit like even because of the way Mike's been playing, because he's been just like a world beater. But, I mean, the thing that shocked me, though, is when he went out with the injury, I thought, like, oh, okay, like they're about to dominate and Baker's about to falter. Never, ever happened. Yeah.
I'm trying to think in my mind without having reviewed this too much. I don't feel like Tampa Bay attacked the Saints down the field a lot today. And
Marshon's first 2 receptions, 18 yards each.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like throughout the game, like I think they had a lot of their success was, like we said, the missed tackles. It was the thing Dennis Allen was harping on most. And actually, when Baker went downfield a couple times, he had the one interception and the other one that should have been an interception. But yeah, that was a little eye opening. The first 2 times and they did on the first play of the game. It was kind of making a statement, going to Mike Evans against Marshon Lattimore on the very first offensive snap of the game for an 18-yard completion. This team wanted to make a statement. I saw just before we started the show that Tristan Wirfs was in a locker room talking about Cam Jordan's comments this week that he didn't consider this a rivalry. Like, the Saints are trying to figure out who they are. Tampa Bay wanted to keep the Saints in their place.
Well,
and they did.
Tell us what you saw before the game, just to Mike's point about Tampa Bay and creating the rivalry.
Well, we talked about it in the Friday show about the matchups, and Baker Mayfield was not performing well under pressure. He performed very well under pressure against the Saints. I expected Cam Jordan to come out and have a couple sacks. Baker Mayfield was only sacked 1 time for 7 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns and was picked off once. He had a 78.1 completion percentage. Look, I think it's not the Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints rivalry. I don't think it will ever get to that point. But, man, Tampa Bay came in and showed, hey, we heard you, we were listening, and we just came into your own house and embarrassed you.
Well, I threw my alley-oop out of bounds, but before the game, Brooke got a photo of them huddling on the Saints logo.
I got you.
It's a disrespectful move.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you're gonna make a disrespectful move, make sure you get in the center of the fleur-de-lis. They were kind of off to the side, and it's you kind of missed your mark here. You kind of missed your point.
But they wanted parts of the fleur-de-lis to be in the photo, otherwise people wouldn't have known they were on it.
Oh my gosh, it was not good. But no, I don't know if the Saints saw that in the locker room before the game. But no, they should have came out here. I mean, the way this defense has played, even with guys being out, no, you didn't have Paulson Adebo. You had Isaac Yadaman. You didn't have Marcus May. And you didn't have Jordan Howden, who is just a rookie. I mean, it's not like Jordan Howden has come in and proven to be this, Pro Bowl safety. This Saints defense just did not play up to its standard in this game.
No question about it. I mean, they got pushed around a little bit, and it was kind of crazy. And I never really had a lot of confidence in them the way the game was playing. Normally, you feel it. It just never
you can
felt
feel their presence. There was only 2 3-and-outs, and that's uncharacteristic for the Saints.
Yeah, it just always kind of felt like they were going to win this game. It was just never felt like the Saints
there
were
were a couple times where I found myself being well, maybe if the defense can bail them out with another turnover, another takeaway, or a pick six or something. And I was even I think they've used up all of those cards.
Yeah.
Like the defense did that for 2.5 games, and now the defense is we can't do it all by ourselves. It almost feels like they're being sunk down with the rest of the team.
Yeah, there was one point where I was thinking in my head, they need a pick six here, to bail out the offense. I was like, this is insane. You can't be thinking like this. Yeah.
It wasn't. Well, you can be thinking about that given the way the Saints started the season.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to.
Shouldn't have to.
It should be they need to score a touchdown on defense because the offense will never get in the end zone. That's kind of what I was thinking.
It's that turbo button that you have in a video game or whatever. And it's shoot, I'm out of them. I used them all up.
Real quick injury update. As you guys saw, Mike Triplett is in a boot. Jawan Johnson did not play in this game.
You know what? I didn't poll Mr. Athlete. I have the exact same injury. But I talked to Jawan after the game.
Who was out with a calf injury, by the way.
He was describing his injury, and I was thinking at the same time, that sounds exactly like what I'm dealing with. But I did not
What are you dealing with, Tripp? What could he potentially be dealing with?
He said that he knows his own body, and he said he's had this calf thing on and off, and in pregame warmups, he said he just knew it didn't feel right, and he made the smart decision that he didn't trust it, talked with the trainers or whatever, and obviously he'd like to push it through, but it feels like the kind of thing that, unlike what we were saying with Derek Carr's injury, that he could have made worse by pushing it. So I don't know what that's going to mean for his status for next week.
It said a lot about Jimmy Graham and just not being able to step in and be the good blocker that Jawan Johnson typically is. That was kind of disappointing to see. Jawan Johnson did not play the entire game, if you missed this, with a calf injury that he experienced in pregame, and then Andres Pete left the game with a concussion. Those are the only 2 injuries that we know of now.
Lonnie Johnson Jr. got hurt too during the game.
When did he exit the game?
I
believe that was first half?
Halftime, they announced he was questionable to return. I forgot to see if he ever came back in the game, but yet another defensive back injury.
And we were actually kind of surprised that Lonnie Johnson did not get the start at safety, that they put Jonathan Abram back there with Tyrann Mathieu, but then they ended up switching out. We'll continue to see how they handle the secondary. All right. It's one of those segments. Just like we have a money segment, we have to have a player of the game presented by Hard Hide Strawberry Whiskey. And the player of the game, you guys can guess who this is going to, Blake Groupie, who went 3 for 3. Unfortunately, though, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, no shame in that, though. Man played a good game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely I don't know. You went through, who else are you going to pick?
He's had pressure on every kick he's kicked this season. Intense pressure. They have never been up by, well, that's not true. He put them up 17-0 at Green Bay, the game they didn't end up winning. But it's like every game they've, every point they're fighting for their life. Like, he doesn't ever get to just have a casual moment out here. And unfortunately, he didn't come through one time, but he made every other kick this season so far.
Real quick before we get out of here, I know everybody wants us to just kill the Saints on this show, but given we're now through week 4, heading to New England, the offensive line seemingly got a little bit better. Can this offense turn around? Can this team turn around? Because we did see some issues with the defense. Can this team turn around next week, or is this going to be we're going to have some bumps in the road for the next few weeks?
I do not like this offense going against a Bill Belichick coach defense one bit. Like, the Patriots got clobbered today, and they're going to be spending the whole week talking about if they're going to bench their quarterback. So they're a struggling team. There's an opportunity there. But I do not think at New England against Belichick's defense is what is going to fix this Saints offense. I have very little confidence that next week we're going to see a turnaround, to be honest.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Houston, they might not have all the players, but they got DeMeco Ryans, who led the defining defense in the NFL for the last several years. So they're going against two guys that are kind of like PhDs in defense, and the Saints offense is not a PhD in offense right now. So, this isn't the home cooking you're looking for if you're trying to get right.
Yeah, all right, guys. The next time you will see us, we will be live during our Wednesday show from the Turo Hospital studio uptown. That's where we have our studio. And then we will be heading on the road to New England as the Saints will be taking on the Patriots, and we'll see you then.